Yo, what up, Toshi here. So I never ever talk about like codes in my videos, and there's a reason why. Now I know a lot of you are going to definitely dislike me after this video, and that's absolutely fine. I don't expect everyone to agree with me on everything, and this is one of those things that I believe should not be controversial, but it's always controversial for some reason. Like codes in this game are not needed whatsoever. They are honestly the worst way to spin your pools in this game, and that's for many reasons. Now, first of all, I have a perspective of someone that does not spend money on these games whatsoever, right? So whenever I do have a perspective that has anything to do with a gacha game, I'm looking mostly from a free-to-play to low spender even perspective, and low spender guarantees you'll be able to at least collect most, if not all of the characters if you have luck on your side, and free-to-play is assuming that you receive the characters you want to receive over time, and not all of the characters assuming you have average. If you have luck and you're free to play, you probably still aren't going to get all the characters because there is so many characters being thrown at us in Honkai Star Rail. Yo, what up? Toshi here. So we have Argenti's 5-star light cone. We'll go over the light cone, but I'm going to tell you right now that this is not going to be in any way, shape, or form. It's something you should roll for if you have the character, because there's already a strong option in the game that most players can use in the form of a 4-star light cone. So 5-star light cones give you higher base stats. That's one of the best things about a 5-star light cone. And that's really one of the best selling points of a 5-star light cone. The higher base stats means that your damage dealers in this case is mostly good for damage dealers, will have higher attack, which means they're able to put out more damage than if they had a 4-star light cone. That's the first clear difference between a 5-star and a 4-star light cone. The second part is usually the passive, and the passive for Argenti's 5-star light cone is really enticing. You get 36% crit damage. And let's be honest here, this is half of a crit damage circlet or crit damage chest in Honkai Star Rail. That's a lot of crit damage for just one part of the passive of a light cone. And then the second half of it will increase the damage of the ultimate for the wearer depending on the amount of energy they actually have in their total ultimate. And for Argenti being able to have up to 180 energy, he's going to get the full passive of the light cone, making this a very strong, the best in slot option for the character. Now, with all that being said, this light cone is tailor-made for the character. So if you're looking for a way to boost up the character's performance, this is going to be the best example of being able to do so, is going for the light cone. But again, I just would never recommend it because we already have options in the game that will enhance the character's damage in the form of a 4-star, and I'm going to explain to you that, and I'll also explain more about the gacha system itself for Honkai Star when it comes to weapons, and stuff about future characters that's very important to take into consideration. So there's a light cone in the game that gives you 32% damage towards your ultimate, and you get 20 energy whenever you start the battle. And this is the form of a 4-star light cone that all of us received at the beginning of the game. And for most players, this is probably what you're going to use on your Argenti because it gives you everything the character needs. With him being a character that needs tons of energy because of his high ult cost, and a character that depends on getting damage out with his ultimate, this is going to be best in slot for the character in terms of free-to-play options. And as you passively get refinements for the weapon, it starts to become a much more competitive weapon with some of his leading options, because then you get up to a 64% ultimate damage increase for the character and 32 energy, which the energy portion might not matter as much as the ultimate damage increase, but this does help with getting his ultimate in the start of battle as fast as possible. So this is not even taken into consideration that we have yet to receive a 4.5-star light cone in the form of Herda's shop in the similar universe for erudition characters. I say 4.5-star light cone because this is a 5-star light cone, but it has the stats or base stats of a 4-star light cone, or slightly above a 4-star light cone, I would say. So it's a 4.5-star light cone to me, but you do get refinements for it for free. Well, I say for free, you have to grind for it, and over time you unlock refinements by doing the Simulator Universe weekly, or maybe in the beginning of the game, or you already have a lot of the things you need saved up the currency to buy them, then you can already go ahead and buy them. But these light cones are very good for characters. For instance, this is a very nice option to have on Fu, to the point where you don't even need to have her 5-star light cone, because the game provides you with a very solid option for the character. And considering this light cone and her light cone doesn't even increase the aggro value for the character, I mean, you have to take into consideration the amount of value you get from that light cone over this one is super minimal. And let's not forget that in this game, light cones are not even weapons. So you can't even see it behind your character, and you can't even see your character wielding it. I mean, Kafka right now is just wielding her sword, and she's not wielding her light cone. I know that's not really saying too much, but this is a lot more different from Genshin. So you can't even argue the aesthetic is a reason to roll for it, unless you really just want to have a character with their matching light cone. I mean, you know, there's just another reason to not roll for light cones in this game. Let's talk about the obvious, and that is the fact that the light cone is a trap for any player. That's because Hoyo is taking advantage of the fact of the matter is that they have a gacha system that is rigged. And for a lot of players, you will not end up getting the option or the thing you wanted on the banner, the advertised item. Instead, you're going to get an option you didn't want, and you're going to have to roll again to get the option you wanted. And for many players, that means you have to spend even more currency to go for a weapon, versus just going for a character and maybe assuming you would lose the character that you wanted on the raid up eventually, and then having to save for another character. Because then if you're in too deep on the weapon banner, then you won't have any currency to go for the character later on. And for many players, this is a net negative for your account. And don't get me wrong, some of these light cones are actually pretty good. I wouldn't say there is actually a very bad light cone aside from Bailu's light cone, which is pretty bad. Himiko's light cone is not that good, but I still use it on a character like QQ and it finds value on her. It's something irreplaceable, might not be the best light cone ever, but it's still pretty good on Clara, and you can actually use it on Jinglu. But that's not even taking into consideration that you actually are able to just save up your gacha currency or dupe coins to pull a light cone from the shop. That makes this even less enticing for many players. If this was a 100% chance to pull for the advertised light cone for the character, this would be a lot more enticing. If the chances for the light cone was way more than what it is currently, making it very close comparable to the rates of the 5-star characters, it is slightly above the rate of a 5-star character, then it would be more enticing if it was like maybe 2%, maybe 3%. But the fact of the matter is, since it's still below 1%, you're probably never going to get a light cone early. So that means you're looking at getting a light cone 65 pulls plus. And 65 pulls plus is pretty much close to pity for a 5-star character. So essentially, you're trading a 5-star weapon for a 5-star character. And in Honkai Star Rail, character collecting is very cool because a lot of characters have different playstyles. And I think this game, compared to Genshin for the most part, has a clear distinction between characters and how they play. And I think that's one of the best things about this game, one of the best selling points of the combat system. You have characters like Topaz, who unlocks the follow-up attack playstyle, and she's a prime supporter for that playstyle. You have a character like Daniel, who works like QQ a little bit, but is less of a gambling RNG-like character. Instead, he is a character that drains all of your skill points in exchange for being a very strong damage dealer, mostly forming the hyper carry team comp. And then you have characters like Blade, who is a premier sub DPS character. He becomes really good in a dual DPS team comp with Jinglu now, and even characters in the future that are coming will be even better with the character, and that is in the form of a support character. And Kafka is the premier character because she has her own playstyle that is different from all the characters in the game, and that is the Dot playstyle. Without this character, Dot is pretty much just copium. And last but not least, support characters have become a lot stronger. Since the release of the game, we've had characters that haven't done too much other than their design resonated roles. And a character like Huo does more than just heal and cleanse the team. She gives damage buffs, and she gives energy, which makes her a very valuable character to use alongside your Harmony characters and your damage dealers as well. So we take all that into consideration, and not including the fact that a character like Raiden Mei is going to break the game, and she's a character that many players would find themselves overall enjoying the playstyle that she brings to the table, is going to be very hard for Hoyoverse to sell light cones going forward, because characters, 5-star characters right now, are really strong without their light cone. And we already have so many great options in the game for damage dealers, except for some erudition characters, I do understand that, and in the form of not only light cones, but in the form of light cones that are given out for free in the simulated universe. However, is definitely making it a lot more better for free-to-play players to collect characters over time, but the truth is that you're not going to really get too many characters because they are releasing new characters constantly. So that's even less of a reason to pull for light cones because you're going to miss out on so many characters over time. Now, I do know the obvious truth of having a light cone for a character like Seal, and her light cone enhances the performance of this character overall. I understand that argument, and I do understand wanting to pull for investments toward characters you already enjoy playing, because you want to play with the characters you enjoy, not the characters you don't enjoy playing. So what's the point of going for a new character if you're not going to enjoy them versus a character you already enjoy currently? I understand that as well. One of the things I want to say, though, is that's a good thing to do if you are going for a character or going for a character's weapon on their rerun. If you're pulling for Eidolons for a character, do it on their rerun. If you're going for a weapon for a character, do it on their rerun, because you may, in that time period before the character's first rerun, not even want to get an upgrade for the character, or you'll have time to decide whether or not you actually want to get the upgrade for the character. And then you can just roll for other characters in between, other weapons in between, and still enjoy the game that way, while saving up for something for a character you already have. To me, that sounds a lot better than going for something right then and there. So for a character like Silverwolf that is going on her first rerun, then yeah, I recommend going for upgrades for the character. Why not? Because she's already had her first run. So for most players that already have the character, you probably are looking for ways to upgrade the character in various different ways in terms of vertical investment. And well, one of the best ways is going for her Eidolon 1, which gives energy towards the character, making her more of being able to be built as a damage dealer, more so as a support character. Or maybe her 5-star Lightcone is enticing to you. You increase the damage of your team overall, and you increase her damage as well as a sub DPS, making her more of a team contributor in terms of DPS, not only in the supporting category, but as a damage dealer as well. So if a character has had their first rerun, then that's when I recommend going for a vertical investment for the character. Because why not? You probably already have the character and you want to upgrade the character furthermore because you've already enjoyed the character in that trial run. I consider a trial run to be between a character and their first rerun. That's, to me, the trial run. Therefore, go for it because it is a direct upgrade to a playstyle you probably already enjoy and a character that you actually enjoyed using in that time period. So there you have it. That's the only scenario in which I would say going for vertical investment on a character is actually beneficial because you've been using the character from their first banner to their rerun and you've been enjoying using the character. You probably have a bunch of supports that is tailor-made for that character already, and you maybe have a playstyle built around said character. So you have everything you already need for the character. Why not go ahead and go towards upgrading that character furthermore to reach them beyond their limits? That is the only time I could say going for that is beneficial for free-to-play or players that don't really spend much money on this game. Other than that, you're better off just going for characters as said previously. Go for characters that are going to enhance the team overall. Characters like Raiden Mei is going to be very beneficial. Characters like Silverwolf is going to allow your damage dealers to be brought everywhere you want to bring them. And the fact of the matter is that Honkai Star Rail already provides many alternatives for players in terms of weapons. So considering all of Honkai Star Rail's gacha system is a scam to begin with, it's even less of a reason to go for said weapons for characters, because there's already so many alternatives for many players across the board. And if you are free to play, then you definitely don't want to go on the web banner because you could absolutely nuke your account or scam your account more than you're already being scammed with the 50-50 gacha system that already exists in this game. That's the video here. Thank you for watching and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.